Hello, sir. A very good evening.
Hello, thank you so much. Good evening to you too.
Welcome to Guide IAS. It's a privilege to have you, sir. Thank you so much for joining with us.
No, no, thank you so much.
We are honored, sir. So, before we begin, I really want to give a quick sneak peek in your journey so far. Shall I?
Sure, sure. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, guys, as I already mentioned, Sir is an IAS officer with AIR 6. He secured this rank in his fourth attempt. He couldn't make it in the first attempt, but in the second, he got selected for Indian Audit and Account Services with the rank 366. But he didn't stop there. He gave two more attempts to achieve his dream job, that is, Indian Administrative Services. In fact, if we analyze his journey from the very early age of his childhood till his date of securing AIR 6, it has been a roller coaster ride for him. Nevertheless, here he is with us to inspire us. Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, I'm here. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so moving on to the questions.
And
From what age?
thank you so much for the generous introduction, Hiteshi.
We are honored, sir. So, moving on to the questions. From what age did you aspire to be an IAS, and who has been your inspiration so far?
So, so my father once mentioned it to me when I was pretty young. I might have been around in fifth standard or something. And he just mentioned that I want you to become a collector, and that is it. But I don't think I aspired to become a collector right from that date on. But I had to take a call after my 10th standard that which stream should I opt for? Should I opt for science? Should I opt for commerce? And what is the trajectory moving forward? So that is when I finally decided that okay, I'm not going to opt for science and I'm going to opt for commerce in the hope that I might pursue some subject which will help me in my ultimate objective, which is UPSC. So I just feel like it might have stayed with me somewhere. What my father had told me when I was that young, that really helped me in making that decision when I was actually deciding in 2011, so or 2010. So that is how I ultimately decided to opt for this career choice. And role model, majorly my family. So my dad, because I've seen him struggle so much. I've seen him go up and down, up and down, up and down multiple times in his life, and he has done very well. So that really inspires me a lot. And my brother, who has always been a guiding force for me, So in all aspects, all major decisions of my life, he's always been there through thick and thin. So yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, as we know that your life was full of struggles back then, so what were your strengths or weaknesses? I mean, like, what was the major inspiration, also, you can say, which led you here and which helped you cross all those stressful periods?
So I don't know what strengths and weaknesses, but yeah, one thing is for sure. What really helped me, because it is not really easy, and I'm sure aspirants who are giving multiple attempts, they will understand this very well. That it is a mentally taxing, mentally exhausting process. So once you are, if you get through one or two attempts, you are good to go. But if you don't, then you really need that kind of mental capacity to go through a few more attempts after that. So for me, it was majorly. So I had seen that kind of pressure around me even when I was pretty young. So that really helped me in UPSC also, because I did not get overwhelmed with the kind of pressure that was being put around me. Because in the fourth attempt, especially when I was able to crack administrative service, I was actually training in Shimla. So I had a full-time job of training there from 9:30 to 5:30, and I could only study after that for about 3 hours a day for mains as well as prelims. So I did not have that much time, but I still was able to manage my time decently well and able to cover my syllabus, I think, two times for both mains and prelims, just because I knew that I can handle that kind of pressure. So major quality which probably was there in me because of the experience of my life was being able to be committed to something and being able to handle that kind of pressure, and that kind of pressure which always happens with civil service as a job itself.
So, you actually broke the myth of studying 16 hours a day.
And so right from day one, I have never studied for 16 hours a day.
Okay, sir. Now that you have achieved what you wanted, so what was your strategy as a whole for the UPSC exam?
So my strategy, I think aspirants will be more interested in what I did in the last attempt when I was able to secure sixth rank. So my strategy was very, very simple. My strategy was to be organic, number one. So I used to avoid reading reference books as much as possible. I will definitely rely much more on NCRTs and try to gather all the information that the UPSC syllabus wanted me to from those NCRTs. I will refer to a book other than NCRT only if I feel that a particular topic is not covered in detail in NCRT, and cover that reference book only to that extent that I need to supplement my information for. And I in fact followed this strategy even for my optional subject, which was law. So that was one. So be organic, and that really helped me reduce the workload because I did not refer to reference books, the thick ones, and I just went organic. So I kept on repeating, revising the syllabus, and that really helped me in consolidating my viewpoint regarding a particular subject, as well as trying to somewhat remember the facts, which is unfortunately a part of the prelim syllabus majorly. So that is the first part of the strategy. Second part was I never, for mains especially, I did not write piecemeal answers, as in I will never write one answer at a time, then five answers at some other time. I never used to do that. I will first finish the syllabus for the entire paper, like for example GS1, and write a full 3 hour 20 questions answer, question paper answer 3 hours in the exam format, absolutely. So that really helped me get exam practice with the lack of time that I had always, and I was able to perform well and always finish my exam papers. So I never faced the problem of not being able to finish the paper. So that was two. And third is being very, very careful and being very, very attentive with the current affairs. So even for static questions which may be asked in the exam in probably history, geography, polity, if there is some current event which has happened, that is probably the reason why the question has been asked by the examiner in the exam. And if you can actually quote that particular event in the answer, that really helps you gain perspective and good I don't know good grades in the exam in that exam,
Enhanced answer. Yeah.
right? So I think these three four strategies were very important for somebody like me who could not really remember much and who could not really study for 16 hours, like you said.
Okay. So moving on, how to prepare for UPSC mains answer writing?
So, like I've already covered, Hiteshi, in answer writing, my strategy has always been to not write three answers, four answers, five answers, six answers, one answer a day. I don't do that. I don't enjoy that. But that is also because I am very confident of my answer writing being from Delhi University. So I never
Yeah.
felt that I'm really short of answer writing. We are very used to writing long answers in Delhi University. So when I started preparing, I had decided that I will first complete the syllabus entirely. And then when I'm sure that I can remember something at least of the syllabus, I will go and write a good 20 question paper and write in the exact format that UPSC asked me to. So for example, if UPSC gives me 2 pages for a 10 marker, I will only write 2 pager in the answers also. So I was very strict about that in my answer writing, and that really helped me. But to give you a perspective about the content, I had a very simple strategy, and I used to follow it in all my answers, whether it was a 10 marker, 15 marker, optional, anywhere. And that was to have a introduction, a conclusion, and a main body. I always used to have that. Irrespective of whether I had time or not, I will always write an introduction and a conclusion because I have a general, uh, I have a very simple gyan about that. That the first impression of an answer is made in the beginning, which is the introduction, and the marks are given at the end, which is the conclusion. So if those two aspects of your answer are written very well, then you are very likely to get good marks in the answer, even if your body is only a mediocre or average. So that is very important. And one last thing which I used to, so I never wrote my answers in point format. I'm not saying that it is bad to write in point format. I just never liked it. But what I did was, and I think this can be replicated in point format answers also. When you write 3 4 lines, points or paragraphs or whatever it is, then always try to underline 3 4 words of that statement or paragraph which you think is important, which should gather the attention of the examiner. Because no examiner can humanly go through 50 pages of your answer sheet word by
Yes.
word. he or she is looking for keywords. If you give them to her ready-made, then you're likely to get more marks because that is definitely going to catch the attention of the exam. So these are few of the tricks which will help you gain good marks in answer writing. And one last thing I want to mention is don't be very critical of the government. Try to be very neutral and always show hope in your conclusion. Always show hope in your conclusion.
Right. Okay. So, also, how did you prepare for essay writing? Was it the same method?
I never prepared for answer writing, to be honest. So I only wrote one. I used to write only one essay 1 day before the exam just to get into the framework. But I will tell you why. What you can do to perform better. So on very briefly, there are 180 minutes to write 2 essays in the exam, which are equally distributed. So, but you should divide your time into 100 minutes and 80 minutes because generally you are slower in the beginning. So
Yes.
for the first essay, you have about 100 minutes. In those 100 minutes, divide yourself into 50 and 50. For 50 minutes, make the brief structure of the essay. And in those 50 minutes, if you have the structure perfectly ready, it will not take more than 50 minutes for you to write 10 pages, around 10 pages. That is, I think, more than what time is required for you to write 10 pages. Your structure is very well written in the first 50 minutes. And even in those first 15 minutes, try to devote about 10 to 15 minutes trying to figure out your introduction and conclusion. Because especially in essay, it becomes extremely important that your introduction and conclusion are absolutely on the target. So that is where I think if you work with this particular framework in your mind for writing essays, even your practice essays, you will definitely get at least 5-10 marks more than what you're getting already.
Okay, so that's really helpful. So, so as we know, the preparation for mains and prelims go side by side. But still, what are the different approaches one should keep in mind or should apply that he can cover one topic through various angles?
So one is start with the newspaper. So I will tell you how to gather all sorts of information regarding a particular news item of the newspaper. And I think same can be replicated everywhere in whatever topic you are studying. So for let's say you come across a news item in the newspaper, whatever limited information is given in the newspaper, that is one aspect of your information. Second is you go through Google, normal Google search, and whatever information you can get, which is unique, you try to jot that down. This is all this I'm telling for prelims point of view because you have to jot down a lot of facts. And third, if you come across a particular government scheme, there is a one pager which is always given in PIB website. It's actually called a one pager. So you go through, just click on that, find that one pager. It is absolutely brilliantly written because it has all the facts. It has the advantages. It also has the drawbacks or the left out points which could have made the policy little better. So you get all the information that you need in that one page itself, which is actually pretty much a semi-government entity, right? And now once you have got all this, then you have read pretty much in detail about whatever policy or whatever news item you were reading about. So now after you have jotted down, after looking at different sources of information, try to remember or recall whatever you have read and try to summarize all of it into just 5 points. I call this as a 5 point formula. So try to jot everything, summarize whatever it is in 5 points for the mains answer point of view. If you are able to summarize everything in 5 points and be satisfied with that, you have been able to cover all the information, important points that you wanted to, you will be in absolutely brilliant position in the exam because nobody can write more than
There's a request कि please हिंदी में भी बात करें. So let us switch.
absolutely not an issue.
Okay, so the next question is like test series for mains. So at times they are really expensive. Not everybody is able to afford, but they are also very helpful. Or helpful, I should say, they are must to practice actually. So how to manage that?
Again, being very practical and being very honest, मार्केट में टेस्ट सीरीज बहुत ही इजीली मिलती है एंड आई थिंक कुछ कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स ओपनली अवेलेबल करवाती हैं अपनी आंसर राइट और क्वेश्चन बैंक्स एंड ऑल दैट. तो आप मार्केट में जाइए, वो आंसर शीट और क्वेश्चन बैंक वहां से खरीदिए और लिख लीजिए। इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है आप किस इंस्टीट्यूट के आंसर राइटिंग या क्वेश्चन बैंक को यूज कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज यूपीएससी वो सवाल कभी नहीं पूछता है। आई डोंट थिंक कोई भी कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट ऐसा है जो बोल सकता है कि मैंने ये वाला आंसर शीट दिया था और इस क्वेश्चन बैंक से यूपीएससी में 100 में से 50 क्वेश्चन आ गए। ऐसा कभी होता ही नहीं, इट्स एब्सोल्युटली इम्पॉसिबल, क्योंकि नोबडी इज एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड द माइंड्स ऑफ द, बिकॉज सो मेनी पीपल अप्लाई देयर माइंड्स टुगेदर, तब जाके एक यूपीएससी का प्रीलिम्स का या मेंस का पेपर बनता है। तो नेवर वेस्ट टाइम इन ट्राइंग टू बाय हार्ट आंसर्स फ्रॉम टेस्ट सीरीज, उससे कोई फायदा नहीं है। जो मार्केट में मिल रही है, ओपनली मिल रही है, विजन आईएएस आई थिंक ओपनली मिलती है, और भी बहुत सारी कोचिंग मटेरियल है जो ओपनली मिलता है, उसको खरीदिए, उससे प्रैक्टिस कीजिए। प्रैक्टिस इज मच मोर इम्पोर्टेंट देन आप खुद आंसर्स को बाय हार्ट करने की कोशिश करें या फिर उसके फैक्ट्स को रटने की कोशिश करें, उससे कुछ नहीं होगा। Always try to practice. That is the key in test series, and not the questions, not the content, and not the format of the answer.
Right. So the next one, sir, it's like when we write the answers, we write those answers in a very journal form, like covering all the political, social, every aspect mainly. So if someone has polity and international relations as the optional subject, so can he or she use those thinkers in GS too also?
उसमें कोई there is no harm in using thinkers from political science and international relations, but GS जनरल स्टडीज एक कारण के लिए कहा जाता है, सामान्य ज्ञान कहते हैं उसे हिंदी भाषा में। तो अगर वो सामान्य ज्ञान का पेपर है, तो आप अगर रूसू और प्लेटो और एरिस्टोटल बोलने लगेंगे तो नॉट एवरीबडी अंडरस्टैंड्स इट। तो यू शुड ट्राई टू बी, मतलब अगर आप मान लीजिए एरिस्टोटल को यूज भी कर रहे हैं तो एरिस्टोटल का वो स्टेटमेंट यूज कीजिए जो आम जनता जानती है। सो अगर जो पेपर आपका जनरल स्टडीज का चेक करेंगे प्रोफेसर, ही और शी मे नॉट बी very much aware about what Aristotle and Plato have said professionally, you know, as a subject, as a theme. So अगर उन्हें नहीं पता है तो आपको मार्क्स कैसे देंगे? नहीं देंगे, मे बी देंगे, मे बी नहीं देंगे, इट्स मे बी सिचुएशन। तो उसको अवॉइड करने के लिए या तो आप बहुत ही जनरल आंसर लिखिए विच इज द बेस्ट केस सिनेरियो, या फिर आप महात्मा गांधी जैसे ऑथर्स को यूज कीजिए जिसके बारे में सबको पता है, या कि अगर आप स्पेसिफिक थिंकर्स को यूज करना चाहते हैं तो उनकी सिर्फ वो स्टेटमेंट्स को यूज कीजिए जो सब लोग जानते हैं। Don't be very specific, don't be very thematic in writing your answers for general studies. That is my advice.
Right. Okay, sir. So the next one, how to choose an optional subject, and जैसा कि आपके पास law था, which was a complete switch. You had economics in your graduation. So what will you suggest? Like, what is your strategy for law as an optional?
Strategy for optional, or why did I choose it?
No, what was your strategy as you took law, the optional subject? So what was your strategy for law as an optional?
Why did I choose law, right?
Yeah, you
No,
can say that, or I mean like how to cover, because it being a very vast and bulky subject. So
so
how did you cover actually?
right, so to answer your first question first, law मतलब optional choose करने के लिए दो चीजें बहुत important है। One is you have to have an interest, आपके इंटरेस्ट का सब्जेक्ट होना चाहिए, बहुत जरूरी है कि आप पढ़ने में मजा आना चाहिए। अगर वो नहीं आया तो कितना भी स्कोरिंग सब्जेक्ट हो, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल मैथ्स इज प्रोबेबली द हाईएस्ट स्कोरिंग सब्जेक्ट सिंस सो मेनी इयर्स, बट अगर आप मैथ्स में अच्छे नहीं हो तो आप कभी भी अच्छा स्कोर नहीं कर सकते हो। So there is no point in trying to read and choose maths as an optional if you're not good at it, if you don't enjoy reading it. तो वो मत करिए। Always the first priority, first factor has to be कि you should be interested in that particular subject. And next, but a supplementary objective has to be कि वो subject ठीक ठाक scoring होना चाहिए। तो ऐसा कोई सब्जेक्ट, अगर मान लीजिए आपके पास दो सब्जेक्ट्स में ऑप्शन है चूज करने के लिए, तो गो फॉर दैट सब्जेक्ट विच इज लिटिल बिट मोर स्कोरिंग, बट any subject that you choose has to be a subject in which you are interested in. So that is the first priority. And secondly, how I studied, how I prepared for law. So basically, I had joined a coaching, Nirvana IAS Academy. It is, I think, one of the best coachings in law optional for UPSC. As far as I know, I have written it in my blog also, for that matter. तो अगर आप उसके नोट्स को, इफ यू कैन गेट होल्ड ऑफ दैट दोज नोट्स, और इफ यू कैन ज्वाइन द अकेडमी इवन बेटर, वहाँ से आपको सब कुछ पता चलता है। Just stick to whatever material is available from Nirvana. You don't have to read even a single line from outside, apart from the current events. and that is all. That is my strategy. And right apart from that, conclusion लिखना, introduction लिखना, main body लिखना, paragraph में answer लिखना, प्रैक्टिस उसी तरह से करना, सिलेबस को 2 बार कवर करना, करंट अफेयर से कॉम्प्लीमेंट करना, सप्लीमेंट करना, all those strategies have been the same for me for GS optional everywhere. तो उसमें कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है, बट आई लाइक आई सेड इवन इन ऑप्शनल आई try to avoid as much reference books as possible and be as organic as possible, reading bare acts, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का bare act, जितना मैं ऑर्गेनिक रह सकूँ, मेरी स्ट्रेटेजी हमेशा से वही रही है.
All right. So talking about the interview room, जहाँ पे जाना भी सबका dream है and one is scared also. So what according to you are those distinctive virtues which give you an edge over the others?
Innocence and honesty. In 2 words. Let me just take a minute to explain. Innocence इसलिए कि अगर आप इंटरव्यू रूम में जाते हो तो आपके पास पेशेंस होना चाहिए उनकी बात सुनने के लिए, और उन्हें लगना चाहिए आपकी बात सुन के कि दिस पर्सन इज विलिंग टू लर्न. इस इंसान को सिखाया जा सकता है, अगर इसको मोल्ड किया जाए, इसको ट्रेनिंग दी जाए तो इसको सिखाया जा सकता है. यू शुड नॉट कम अक्रॉस एज समबडी हु इज वेरी ओपिनियनेटेड, हु इज वेरी रिजिड. ओपिनियन होना भी बुरी बात नहीं है, बट बहुत रिजिड ओपिनियन होना बुरी बात है. तो अगर आप उस तरह से, इफ यू कम अक्रॉस दैट, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू स्कोर गुड मार्क्स. I scored 124 in my first interview. I scored 184 in the second interview. 124 अगर आपको कोई इंटरव्यू बोर्ड देता है, इसका मतलब वो आपको सर्विस में नहीं चाहते हैं. तो दैट इज समथिंग विच हैज हैपेंड विद मी. आई नो एज अ मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट कि क्या गलतियां हो सकती हैं. एंड इनोसेंस के अलावा आपका ऑनेस्टी इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट है कि अगर आपको कोई भी सवाल का जवाब नहीं आता है, एज मेनी टाइम्स यू कैन से इन डिफरेंट वर्ड्स, डिफरेंट वेज कि सर मुझे और मैम मुझे इस सवाल का जवाब नहीं आता है, and you'll be absolutely fine. There is no harm in saying no to the interview board if you don't know an answer. Don't bluff. Never bluff in the interview.
Okay. So, can you please share with us the questions you were asked in your interviews?
Okay, बहुत time हो गया. I don't remember a lot of the questions asked, but I was my interview in this particular interview. I think 80%. I was asked about 50 questions in a span of 25 minutes. And I think about 80% of the questions were economics based and technical economic based. They were asking me about government policies, government schemes, RBI schemes, RBI rates, CA rate, 4 rate on all that. They were asking me in very detail. Fortunately, I am decent enough in economics. I had not read that much, but I was able to answer most of that. And uske alawa, my interview was about my hobby, which is reading non-fiction books. A little bit about law, which is my optional. And a little bit about administrative aspects, like अगर drought आ गया तो कैसे manage करोगे. Like imagine yourself to be the DM and यहाँ पे drought आ गया. Now how will you firefight this? How will you arrange that and all that? And little bit about my previous service, which was audit and accounts. So this is a brief plethora, and I think pretty much everybody experiences this. But मेरे case में थोड़ा सा unique था because 80% of economics was not expected by me at least.
Okay, all right, sir. So now we want to give our viewers the chance to ask questions. We are waiting, guys. Please drop in the comments. So in the meantime, sir, I would like to tell you something we are doing as an organization. So we are running a current affairs program wherein we compile and amalgamate the important news and facts from various websites and newspapers at a bare minimum of ₹1 per day. So that is ₹365 an year. 65% of which is donated to the needy students for their further education.
Very nice. Very nice.
We also have a Telegram group shared by the serving officers wherein they share their strategies, their encyclopedic knowledge with us at a very... Just a minute, sir. So yeah, Telegram group at no cost, totally free.
I think you're doing very good work because ₹1 a day is not much, and if you are actually helping the needy student, might as well take more money also. As long as people are getting helped, that is very, very important.
Yeah. We believe in serving and uplifting people.
Oh, that is very good. Good job.
So there are questions, sir. I
have about 10 minutes. So let us try to cover
sure. So there's a question. Would you like to tell about your real life experiences as assistant collector?
A lot of experiences actually. So right now, in the beginning of my joining here, I had mostly attachments with different offices. So I did not have really responsibilities and authority. But in last 4.5 weeks, I have independent charge as chief officer of a tribal taluka, which is very small, 8,500 population only. But lot of experiences. So I will tell you like one instance. So there are four brothers of a household who had come to me, and they had a dispute between themselves about a house which they had inherited from their mother. So they were quarreling among themselves, and two brothers wanted the other two's name to be included, they themselves, and the other two did not. And they wanted me to solve their problem, which I was in no position to do because it is a matter of the civil code. So these are very interesting experiences. So I kept on telling them कि I cannot do this. This is a civil matter. This is a civil matter. But they kept on pestering me. नहीं sir, आप करिए, आप please करके बताइए, आप कर सकते हैं. You can do it. You help us out. This and that. So there are too many expectations of the people from you, and there is only so much that you can do really on the field. But
Yeah.
also डेवलपमेंट के एस्पेक्ट में इतना ऑप्शन है, इतना स्कोप है, you can't even imagine. In a span of 4.5 months, I have been able to erect 3 water ATMs, construct a market for meat sellers in the Nagarpalika, recover about 30 lakh rupees from the market, initiate a water supply scheme for the entire Nagar Panchayat area, give 181 houses in Pradhan Mantri Awas scheme to the people, give 100% tap water connection to all the people in my area. So I have been able to do all this in a span of just 4.5 weeks. So if somebody wants to do work, there is no dearth of opportunities or resources from the government. It is only your willingness, and it is a lot of satisfaction. It is a lot of satisfaction when you are able to do something like that.
Yeah. That's incredible, sir. So the next query is, क्या हम old NCERTs पढ़ें या new NCERTs?
Totally new NCRTs, no questions about that.
Okay, sir. The next, did you detach yourself from the social media while preparing?
I was always on social media, but of course, I was not spending so much time on social media all the time. I am spending considerably more time now in the mornings and evenings. But what I used to do, how I was able to manage and not be distracted with social media. One, I was only using social media in my break, study breaks of sorts. And two, I had subscribed to good channels about news channels and some GK channels and all that, which whenever I use social media, I came across information. So that really helped me in building my knowledge base in an interesting way. So I was feeling relaxed also because I was using social media, but then at the same time, because I was gaining information also because I had subscribed to all those channels which were providing me with that kind of information.
Yeah. I hope all the questions are answered. So, my parting message to the viewers would be Sir's favorite lines from the poem Invictus.
That's
I am the master of my fate and I am the captain of my soul. So, sir, would you like to say something more to this?
No, absolutely. This sums it all up for all the entire journey of a UPSC aspirant, and up to the point that you actually reach a place where you want to be. I just want to say one thing, that being the master of your fate and being the captain of your soul, it comes into picture really when you have actually achieved that rank, that service that you want to do, and it is the work that you do after that really counts in life, that really helps you cleanse your soul and be happy and satisfied in life. So don't see yourself as achieving that rank as the end in your life, but it is only a means to an end which is much bigger than what you are seeing it right now. All the very best to all the aspirants from my side.
So, I want to say a massive thank you to you, sir, for giving your valuable time and your pitching tips for mains answer writing. We are greatly honored. We are also grateful to our patience audience for connecting with us. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, sir. Have an
Thank you.
amazing sleep tonight.
Thank
Take
you so much.
care.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.